Um, Welcome to recording number, God knows. So I realized after the last session that Outer Wilds is probably one of those games that you want to play when you're not tired after a long day's work. So instead, what I've decided to do is come back to Outer Wilds after going out, going out last night, had barely any sleep, and now I'm trying to understand why the Nomai are blitzing me back into the past, which I think is what's happening. I think the Nomai probably screwed something up very bad. Um, One thing I was thinking about over the last couple of days is why, why would anyone build a, who would build a base on a planet with a black hole as a core? You know, it's probably, that probably came afterwards. So I think that they did something the Nomai were exploring. They created all this new technology. They probably screwed something up really bad, like the Large Hadron Collider, kind of bad. And then they've just, on, I think it's wherever I am, it decided to pull, decided to sort of implode. Or like, it didn't decide to implode, it was just a matter of fact is that they screwed up so bad that they are now living on a planet that is unstable. Because like, why would they make these hanging garden things, or hanging city, or why would they put in all that effort just to know that they're living effectively, like I don't know, like above a volcano? But anyway, so what I'll do is that it's been a wee while since I've last played, so I'm going to start, and then without leaving Path, Hearth, I've called it many names now, Hearth, I'm just going to call it Hearth. Um, I'm just going to go through the rumour log and see what I've done so far. So hopefully that's not going to blitz me back into the past. So let's get started. Resume expedition. Wake up. Cool. Fortunately, I don't actually know how I died last time. Oh no, actually I flew into the sun, didn't I? Yeah. uh, I think one thing that's given my mate unbelievable joy is just that I can't for the life of me roast a marshmallow. And it's okay, I can live with that. Last night I tried playing COD for maybe the fifth time in my life. For zombies, I think like for the first round I managed to get one kill, and then the next time I had 10 kills. So that's the main thing, is that you don't have to be good, you just have to get better. So anyway, posting marshmallows, that's not one thing that I'm committed to do, but I want to see what my mate here has to say. There's our pilot, ready to get this beauty off the ground. Hey, what can I do for you? You know the ship is a death trap, right? You're lucky I'm in a time loop, because otherwise I'd be super dead. The autopilot flew my ship directly into the sun. Okay, okay. I should have. I should have read this more closely. So, you know that the ship is a death trap, right? And then I was like, I thought that was funny. You were lucky I'm in a time loop. So, I actually recognize that I'm in a time loop. And then the autopilot flew my ship directly into the sun. I need to look back into these videos. What's the second? Did the second option come up? Okay, anyway, let's go through the dialogue. So, what does Slate have to say? Well, yeah, it's a death trap, but a really powerful death trap. What do you suddenly care about safety now? What's the second one? You're lucky I'm in a time loop, because otherwise I'd be super dead. Okay, Slate better be like, whoa, what's going on? I have no idea. I didn't think, are you okay? Do you want to go to a medic thing? But if he recognizes it, if they recognize it, I'm going to be so pissed off. Uh, Great. So, and you're lucky I don't have you grounded for medical reasons, because I have no idea what you're talking about. So, Slate doesn't know that I'm in time loop. So if we're thinking about the Groundhog Day movie, which I have not seen, which I've heard a lot about, you keep starting, going back to square one. And so Slate doesn't know that it's happening to me. I know it's happening. I can sort of hold on to all these memories. But also, if someone came up to me at work and said, "Hey, I think I'm reliving the same day again and again," I'd probably ground them for medical reasons. Okay. Third option. Uh, hey, what can I do for you? The autopilot flew my ship directly into the sun. See, I think this. I thought we dealt with this. So basically, your first death, perhaps? Okay. I want to see. I'm not going to start a new expedition, but I wonder how you die the first time, whether that's going to change the dialogue. Or, is it something that's just meant to happen that you are, because you're so bad at flying spaceships that the autopilot's going to fly you directly into the sun anyway. But we'll deal with that once I find out what the hell's going on. Had an exciting dream, did you? It's not exactly impossible for the autopilot to get you too close to the sun, but it's not like he'll try to take you there on purpose. Make sure the sun isn't between you and your destination when you engage autopilot and you'll be fine. Very helpful, thank you so much. I've still got the launch codes. Let's party. Oh no, we're not partying yet. I'm gonna get in the ship. I'm gonna go in and I am going to check out the rumour. What's the rumour log? So I wonder what happens. Does the time loop begin already when you wake up? Is it when you get into the ship? Is it when you first interact with someone? Because when you're reading the ship log, it does say that time is paused for some reason. Okay, map mode. So far, we have barely touched Timber Hearth. We were in Brittle Hollow, and I keep calling it Little Brittle because there's a bar in my town called Little Fiddle, and it feels, yeah, I don't know, it just sounds better. Brittle Hollow, we barely explored it. We went to the Adel Rock. I don't think there was much there. And then what else? Uh, we didn't, did we go to the Quantum Moon? Uh, no. I know of it, but I haven't checked it out. Also, what does a quantum moon mean anyway? Giant's Deep? Nope. So basically everything that is coloured in, I visited so far. So, okay, that was interesting. I wonder what the little star stands for. So I haven't been to Giant's Deep. I haven't been to Dark Bramble. I've been to Whitehall Station. What's going on? I've been to Whitehall Station, and I haven't checked out the Interloper yet. Interloper? Interloper. Okay, and apparently I've been to the In-Between. I think I've been to one of the twins. Okay, yep, so I've been to In-Between. I don't think I did that deliberately. And Ash Twin. And then... so the sun's not coming up as an option to visit, but I've definitely visited quite a few times at this point. Okay, so let's just check out. Okay, so let's start from In-Between. What do I know? So In-Between is a high energy lab. The negative time interval measured at the Whitehall station was further investigated at the high energy lab in the canyon at In-Between's equator. Cool. I don't know what that means, but it's okay. Timber Hearth. Oh, okay. So it turns out I don't actually have to write the notes anyway because it says here village. The whole planet's a village? Anyway, the harmonica signal. So, village, the one and only Parthian village, as well as the main source of explosions on this planet. I think that's supposed to be a joke. The Nomai statue in the observatory opened its eyes and looked at me. I saw strange glowing lights and my own memories flashed before my eyes. Harmonica. So I did write this down as a question last time. So Esker's Signal Scope log reports harmonica music coming from somewhere on Timber Hearth. They claim it sounds just like Feldspar's harmonica, but Feldspar disappeared in space ages ago. Yep, so that's one of the mysteries. Okay, Edelrock. So the eye signal locator. So a Nomad device created to pinpoint the sources of distant signals. Huh. So they kind of did it too, but then, because I did see it line up, but I don't actually know what the signals are. The Nomai were disappointed by their failure to detect a signal from something called the Eye of the Universe. Kind of sounds quite similar to what we're trying to do, right? Esker's camp. So Esker is growing a crop. Esker's growing a crop of trees at their camp. They seem to be doing okay, but they've probably been alone on the moon for too long. Okay, so I've been trying to gender these aliens, but I think they just go by they them pronouns, and that's okay. So I'll just use they them pronouns for everyone going forward. Lunar Lookout, a lookout platform with a spectacular view of the solar system. Esker uses their signal scope here to keep tabs on other travelers. I'd be freaked out. I'd be freaked out too if I started hearing a signal that I didn't expect. Oh, okay. Brittle Hollow. Oh, apparently I spent a lot of time there, but I have not spent enough time there either. So, Rebek's camp. Rebek has set up camp at the bottom of the crossroads. Their excitement at being surrounded by so much Nomai history is matched only by their terror of the black hole. Rebek is Timber Hearth's only archaeologist that overcome their fear of space to explore Brittle Hollow's treasure trove of Nomai culture. Except Rebek is stuck, I believe. And Rebek isn't doing a lot of exploring anyway, so it kind of sounds like they could have just put that funding somewhere else. They could have retrained another archaeologist who had a bit more, who was a little bit less risk averse. Also, okay, who blames Rebek, considering Rebek is living on top of a bloody black hole at the moment? Escape pod 1. So I didn't know that was the escape pod. One of the 3 Nomai escape pods that crashed in our solar system. All 3 escape pods were launched from something called the vessel, which was badly damaged. There's more to explore here. Oh, okay, that's good to know. Is that why there's an asterisk? Okay. Southern Observatory, so I haven't found that yet. The Nomai decided to build a larger, more sophisticated ice signal locator on Brittle Hollow's south pole. I thought I was there. Rebek says you can't get into the observatory from the surface. They tried, but there's probably a path to it beneath the crust somewhere. Cool. Northern Glacier. The North Pole of Brittle Hollow is covered in snow and ice. There is a uniquely shaped Nomai ruin on the surface. The Nomai were able to warp here from the White Hole Station. This is where they first recorded warp technology. Anyway. Tower of Quantum Knowledge. So, keep saying this, don't actually know what's going on. This tower, located on Brittle Hollow's equator, held useful knowledge for Nomai embarking on their first pilgrimage to the quantum moon. Again, need to find out what the quantum moon is. A Nomai named Solanum was told to visit the Tower of Quantum Knowledge on Brittle Hollow's equator to learn one final rule before embarking on her pilgrimage to the quantum moon. Okay, so far we know that Harthians prefer, or they use they them pronouns, and then we know that Solanum uses she her pronouns. Quantum shard. The Nomai noticed a strange rock shard that appeared to wander when no one was watching. Is that the same? No, is that the same rock? That is the same. Oh, go check it out. That's the same rock that keeps blitzing around at the museum. The Hanging City is a huge Nomai city just to the north of Rebek's campsite. Didn't really look much of a city. Anyway, in Gravity Cannon. Yes, I remember. That's how I died last time. A huge cylindrical structure that generates a strong upward gravity field. I recall to know my shuttle from the quantum. So last time I realized, sure, you can beam yourself up and down uh, through the gravity field. So that's not only for machines, but that's also for living beings too. So that's how I ended up stuck in space, and that's how I died last time. Oh, okay, what else is happening? Quantum Moon. I have been there? No. Quantum Moon, Solanum's shuttle. The Nomai on Brittle Hollow observed a phantom moon that would sometimes appear in the sky. A Nomai named Solanum landed a shuttle on the quantum moon. Maybe I'm not being blitzed back into the past. I'm not being vaporized. There's no movable black hole. It's actually just, is it the quantum moon? Am I being crushed to death? Maybe. Oh, haven't been to Giant's Deep yet. Haven't been to Dark Bramble. Haven't been to White. Oh no, I have been to White Hole. So White Hole Station. I spent quite a bit of time there. So, oh my god. Okay. White Hole. White Hole Station. Every Nomai warp tower is tuned to a specific astral body. To use a tower, you must be standing on the warp platform during the tower's alignment with its corresponding astral body. I wonder if that's also the same thing with when you're on the moon. The alignment happens when the astral body is directly overhead. The Nomai noticed something strange. Warped objects appeared to arrive at the receiver on Brittle Hollow slightly before they departed the Whitehall station. The Nomai noticed something strange. Warped objects appeared to arrive at the receiver on Brittle Hollow slightly before they departed the Whitehall station. Okay, so I'm no physicist, but I do know that space-time interacts. Or that's, yeah, so I don't think actually it's not even a space-time. I think that's just the thing about, you know, oh, I don't know, but it kind of sounds like you're not actually time traveling, but it's just that I think maybe there's some kind of relativity thing going on between when you beam things between, I guess when you disintegrate someone or something to transport it somewhere else, that there's a glitch or, something's, it makes it seem like they're actually traveling back in time. Maybe they've somehow tried to leverage it in some way so that you could, travel back in time or be vaporized further and further back than expected. Again, this is a one of the many hypotheses that I have. So this negative, maybe I should just keep reading. This negative time interval between an object arriving and departing was incredibly minuscule, roughly 100,000ths of a second. The Nomai were skeptical if the equipment could even measure time to such a small degree. Well, I guess it's all relative. If it's 100,000th of a second, I guess you can just keep beaming someone a lot. And then maybe you can beam someone back. Maybe there's a certain chunk of time that they managed before, they tested it to a certain point of time, and then something bad happened, and that's how they're all dead. Whitehall Station. Okay, and then what is that? Okay, what is that thing? Is that the spaceship? Probably. Hope you don't mind me doing this as, I suppose, a recap video. So let's go into rumour mode. So, rumour mode. What do we know? Let's start off with the village. Few entries. The one and only Earthian village, as well as the main source of explosions on this planet. I was having a sip of Coke. Notice I said the word sip. The one and only Earthian village, as well as the main source of explosions on this planet. Okay. The Nomai statue and the observatory open its eyes. Okay. So it's basically the same. It's basically the same thing. Oh no, but it's the connections. So this is kind of like a network map instead of a spatial map that we just looked at. So view rumour. So it sounds like Isca's still stationed on Edelrock. They've been there by themselves for a while. So it kind of sounds like this is the rumours are basically things that you should explore. So I did that. I saw Iska. Iska's very alone, but just loving life, being a hermit. Fair enough. We're too connected these days anyway. Uh, so Iska says the Edelrock's North Pole, marked in red on my mini-map, is a great spot to listen for the other travelers' music with a signal scope. So, uh, so that's where I went. I went to the Lunar Lookout, a lookout platform with a spectacular view of the solar system. Iska uses their signal scope here to keep tabs on the other travelers. Sure. And then Iska's signal scope log reports harmonica music coming from somewhere on Timber Hearth. They claim it sounds just like Feldspar's harmonica, but Feldspar disappeared in space ages ago. And then I tried to explore the harmonica signal, but that was, I believe, the first time that I got beamed or vaporized. I think, yeah. So I went back to Hearth, and then I was trying to figure out how to travel within the what's this? The core, I suppose, or beneath the crust of Hearth, and that's when I was vaporized the first time. Yep. So that's one rumor. What's the other thing I did? So from the village, I I hear there are no more ruins somewhere on the Outer Rock. No one knows what they are, why they were built. It's kind of interesting how they decided to call the Outer Rock instead of just calling it the moon. Like, they didn't bother calling the sun something different. So, let me check my still. That's still going. Oh, is it still going? No, okay. It's still recording. So, village. Rumor. Cool, I went there. I went to the eye signal locator. So I know my device created to pinpoint the sources of distant signals. The Nomai were disappointed by their failure to detect a signal from something called the Eye of the Universe. Oh, and I tried to do that. Rebek headed to Brittle Hollow to investigate something the Nomai were doing at the South Pole. So Rebek has set up camp at the bottom of the crossroads. Their excitement at being surrounded by so much Nomai history is matched only by their terror of the black hole. Fair enough. Rebek is Timberhearth's. I wonder that's what it feels like being a volcanologist. Rebek is Timberhearth's. Oh, yeah, well, actually, I wonder if that's what it feels like doing any sort of research at the moment. Love large language models. I can't stand them at all. They're a black box. Anyway, Rebek is Timberhearth's only archaeologist that overcame their fear of space to explore Brittle Hollow's treasure trove of Nomai culture. Anyway, so both these rumors, so the eye signal locator and Rebek's camp, points towards the southern observatory. So Rebek says you can't get into the observatory from the surface. They tried, but there's probably a path to it beneath the crust somewhere to the southern observatory. And then from the eye signal locator, it says the Nomai decided to build a larger, more sophisticated eye signal locator on Brittle Hollow's south pole, and that all points towards the southern observatory. So those are kind of like the two leads at the moment. Okay. And then on the other side of the rumor mill, there are I guess, four disconnected clusters. So let's look at this one. So the gravity cannon. Yeah, let's look at the gravity cannon. That's the thing that killed me most recently. So a huge cylindrical structure that generates a strong upward gravity field. I recalled a Nomad shuttle from the quantum moon, and I think I did figure out how to beam it back and forwards. And then Urema, a Nomad named Solanum, she, her, was told to visit the Tower of Quantum Knowledge. on Brittle Hollow's equator to learn one final rule before embarking on a pilgrimage to the quantum moon. So what is this rule? Did I learn the rule? Cool. So I didn't visit the Tower of Quantum Knowledge. I was there, but I didn't actually explore it properly. So this tower, located on Brittle Hollow's equator, held useful knowledge for Nomai embarking on their first pilgrimage to the quantum moon. A Nomai named Solanum, she/her, was told to visit the Tower of Quantum Knowledge on Brittle Hollow's equator to learn one final rule before embarking on her pilgrimage to the quantum moon. And then it's connected to the quantum shard. The Nomai noticed a strange rock shard that appeared to wander when no one was watching. Quantum knowledge. Quantum shard. Doesn't mean when you're not looking it changes? Okay. Cool. So in the second cluster, where did it start? I think it started off, okay, Whitehall Station. So every Nomai warp tower is tuned to a specific astral body. To use a tower, you must be standing on the warp platform. Yep. So there's negative times. I feel like the Nomai have leveraged this. So they're about to get really screwed. Aha! There's a movie. Is it Looper? Is it? Oh, I think there's like a recent TV show where they try and send people from the future to the past, but take over people's like sort of random people's consciousness. Is that happening to me? Anyway, so maybe they've somehow managed to leverage that. And what's the rumor? The negative time interval measured at the Whitehall Station was further investigated at the High Energy Lab in the canyon at Ember Twins equator. The negative time interval. Okay. Is that the rumor? Oh, okay, so because I haven't properly explored it yet, so it's not coming up. Northern Glacier. Sorry, I should have started there. So, snow and ice. The Nomai were able to warp here from Whitehall Station. This is where they first recorded warp technology. Ooh, this is different. There is a Whitehall Station on the other side of Brittle Hollow's black hole. There is a Whitehall Station on. Okay. Several Nomai returned to the station to investigate an equipment reading. Okay. Several Nomai returned to the station to investigate an equipment reading that appeared to violate causality. So the reason why I was a bit confused about the first sentence was that I thought maybe the station was meant to be on Brittle Hollow, but no, I think it's on the other side, so basically when you travel through it. And then causality, maybe that's something to read up. Causality. If anyone has a good 101 textbook or paper, scientific journal article about causality that someone who is a data scientist / linguist would be able to understand, that would be fantastic. Cool. So from Northern Glacier, you travel up the Rumour Mill, or the Grapevine. The Nomai on Brittle Hollow observed a phantom moon that would sometimes appear in the sky. So at the moment, I'm thinking maybe that's the thing. Maybe I'm not actually being transported back to the past, I'm just being crushed to death. A Nomai named Solanum, she/her, landed a shuttle on the quantum moon. Cool. Okay. And then I think there's two unrelated clusters at the moment that I should also explore. So, one of 3 Nomai escape pods that crashed in our solar system. All 3 escape pods were launched from something called the Vessel, which was badly damaged. So one of 3 Nomai escape pods that crashed in our solar system. So, the Nomai were originally there. They did all this fun stuff. They screwed something up very badly. And then, so when they say crashed in our solar system, it kind of sounds like, that they weren't meant to be here. But then it's like, the Nomai were there beforehand, I believe. And then it's the Earthians arrived later. something. Um, all three escape pods were launched from something called the vessel, which was badly damaged. So I wonder when they say the vessel, whether that's actually a launch pad, or if the vessel is, you know how some people like to describe, vessel as of a nest or something. Maybe the vessel is the name of their planet of origin, which is badly damaged. There's more to explore here. And then the next one is the Hanging City, which I was quite underwhelmed by. There's a huge nomad city just to the north of Rubik's campsite. Cool. So I think that's everything so far. That is everything in the log. Yeah, this is actually the first time I've been looking at this. So it's actually that part's moving, that's recording. And the light changes outside. Where's the light source coming? Is it so sunrise? Cool. It's actually really pretty. Let's actually start looking. Okay, so oxygen refill. Not a tree. Spot a tree, walk towards it, enjoy. Okay, what else? Yeah, I should probably. Okay. Uh, it looks like they use. Oh, is that how many times I've died? So that's 5. Oh, it's good to know. Wait. No, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4. So, okay, I want to write down. Was that the launch codes? So 1, 2, 3, cross. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. So 4. Oh, got dark really quickly. And 3. So 4, 5. This math should be a lot easier than it should be. So it's 12. Is that 12 times? Have I died 12 times? I'll check that next time. Okay, damage. That's good to know. Next, I should be able to zoom closer. Can I touch it? Can I touch the master alarm? No. Okay. Fuel altimeter temperature. What else is happening? What's happening? Also love the fact that the interior of the ship is made of wood. Nothing says this won't ever rot like wood. Also, they've got plant here, I like it. I like that they care about decor. Okay, what else? So there's a first aid kit. Mm, okay, sleeping mat. There's oxygen, I'm guessing. Pre-flight checklist. Yeah, I'll check that in a second. First aid. What else? So, ooh, okay. Little scout. See beyond the horizon. What does that say? Illuminate dark areas. Oh, okay. So actually, this is just instructions. Detect hazards. Test the environment. I do. Oh no, this is about how to use the scout thing. So basically, with the scout, you can see beyond the horizon, which would be useful. Illuminate dark areas. Ooh. You can use it to detect hazards, kind of like what happened last time when I fell through the black hole. Test the environment. So at some point there's going to be tornadoes. Great. One of the my least favorite um, natural disasters. Also, the gravity says here that it is times 1.8. You would assume that if they, being anthrocentric, that gravity would always just be 1. Why is it 1.8 times? It doesn't mean that their gravity the gravity that they're on, so like me as Harthians, is it a little bit too high than what they normally would expect? I know that high gravity like does like it does absolute I think unit on your joints. But okay, anyway, let's get in the scene. Well, so that's Scout. That's the first time I looked at it. I did do like that. There's all these warning signs. Okay, Jumbo. It's just a shame you can't zoom in. Um, don't know what that is. I think that's Gravity Stone. I think someone told me about that earlier. I think I've checked out everything that I could. Is there anything up there? Oh, that's quite useful. The meter. What is this? What is that? Is that food? Jumbo what? I have no clue. Okay, let's have a look at the pre-flight checklist. So, Jetpack Auto Booster. Jetpack boost can be triggered with a separate button, manual anytime upward thrust is used. Translator auto equip. Translator can be equipped with a button press manual or by looking at translatable text. Freeze time while translating text. Freeze time while reading translated text. Translator must remain stationary. Note, there are certain periods when time cannot be frozen. Freeze time while reading ship log. See, this is kind of weird. Because did they know about this time loop? Did they know that, did the Harthians know that time is going to have an impact on them when they're, at some point in the future, that the Nomai are going to screw something up really badly, and then you're going to have to freeze time when you're reading ship log, or the ship's log. Freeze time while talking to others. Great. Freezes time while talking to characters and reading journals or signs. This will prevent character animations from playing during conversation. There are certain periods when time cannot be frozen. Okay. What did I want to do? So basically, there are two, I suppose, points of inquiry or inquiry. So I can either go back to Southern Observatory and see how that works. I can check out the harmonica signal. Both times I've tried to check that, I think I did die. I didn't do it quick enough. The fact that this is coming up orange with and a star next to it says it's probably important. It's something I do need to do. So I wonder if it's just something they need to do in order to advance the storyline, or if it's just something that if you are lost for things to do, it's probably something for you to check out. Jumbo peaches, is that what it is? Jumbo marshmallows. Do you think marshmallows have play a role here? Anyway, so if the time, I currently don't know what the time loop is in terms of, how much time I actually have. So if I have been reading things for as long as I have, I'm probably going to be blasted back into the past quite soon. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go check out the Moonstone because why not? Let's go to the museum. I like museums. I like being able to take time at museums, and then I can't think of a better place to be vaporized than at a museum, if I can get to it. So let's keep in mind that at the moment there are, it says 12 times. Have I been dead 12 times? Have you been keeping count? Who knows? Also, I really can't be bothered going through the dialogue again. Anyway, so I'm not going to bother with it. Maybe it's important. But, yeah. No, this isn't where I want to be. I want to go and go to the museum. So there was a proper museum. I think it was the observatory, and then they had the quantum stone. So, what else? The creepy kids are still there. Just look at you, staring. Look at Galena, staring at you. And Tefra probably says more about me than it does about the Harthians or the designers, but I definitely see, they have definitely gendered some of these Harthians, but again, gender is a social construct, and you know what? It is okay. Okay. Let's keep going. So I wonder also if it's not actually time, like how long you've been playing, but how many rotations that we're going around. So I remember this bit. Where's the Nomai Observatory? Where's the museum? Where's the museum? That's not what I want. It was quite creepy when the Nomai statue just suddenly started looking at us. Okay, so good check here is that I'm actually getting shivers. Oh. Okay, the eyes are open. They're freaking, they're flipping out. They're like, what's going on? Oh, this is quite cool. So, Iscus, Slate, Feldspar, Gossin, Hornfells. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 names, but there's only 4 of them in this picture. I'll read. Outer Wilds Ventures founding members, clockwise from top left, Hornfells, Gossin, Slate, and Feldspar. Esker was not a founding member. Oh, I'm just having another sip of Coke. So big thanks to these additional founding members of our Outer Wilds ventures, without whom we would never have gotten off the ground. Matthew Steinhoyer, Ben Etherington, Hugh the Pie, Jordan Frith, Tom Cummings, Sean Shark Templar Farrell. Oh no, am I going through the whole list? Are these the Patreons? Stephen Ursul, Ryan, Omricker. Does it keep going? Yeah, no. Oh, I hear the sound. Outer Wilds Ventures, Timber Hearth's first and only space program, was founded to explore the farthest reaches of our solar system. Feldspar was the first Hearthian to be intentionally launched into space. They completed the first orbit around Timber Hearth and later made the first of what would be many landings on our moon, the Adelrock. So this remarkably intact statue was carved by the Nomai, an ancient species who dwelled in our solar system thousands of years ago. The statue provides us with our most detailed look yet at the Nomai, who appear to have been covered with a layer of fur. Note the decorative jewelry that has been carved as part of the antlers. Although their artifacts and structures have been found on almost every planet in the solar system, we still have no idea where the species came from or what happened to them. So that's terrifying when you think about it. Okay, anyway, Hal. I can't remember what Hal said to me earlier, but let's see. Okay. Hey, I was just about to come find you. Look, look, look. You've got to see this. The Nomai statue's eyes are open. They used to be closed. Probably should have started with that, and now they've opened. We're not sure why they opened. says no one actually saw it happen. Wow, aren't you glad I'm here? But this is huge news. Should someone tell Gabro or maybe Rebek? Oh stars, this is so exciting. It's making my stomach hurt. Oh, same dialogue. You're not gonna ask, like, you don't think to ask me whether it did happen? You know, talk to Hornfels. Hornfels. Yes. Okay, talk to Hornfels. Hey, look at this. The statue opened its eyes. Bet you wish you'd seen that happen. Huh, sigh. Me too. These people are undermining my experience. I'm not even a little closer to understanding what's going on with the statue. Was there something you needed? Okay, let's just go through. Where are the other travelers? Well, let's see. Chad is on the Hourglass Twins, Rebek is on Brittle Hollow, and Gabro is on Giant's Deep. So I've met Rebek so far. I haven't met Gabro or Chad. And there's Feldspar, obviously. But of course, we don't know where they are, or if they're even still alive. Feldspar has been lost for a very long time, I'm afraid. Was there something you needed? Tell me more about Feldspar. Feldspar was one of the 4 founding members of Outer Wilds, along with our flight coach, Gossin, Slate the engineer, and me. So I can't imagine that this space program would have been around for that long. Anyway, as ground controller and later the museum curator, I didn't work with Feldspar as closely as Slate and Gossin did. So, think they weren't friends? I can tell you Feldspar was absolutely fearless, though nothing scared them. Test piloted everything Slate ever built. See, that's trust. It's a wonder Feldspar lived to see space, frankly, but they did. Flew all sorts of dangerous stunts and explored everything they could find. And then one day they just didn't come back. We don't know what happened or where Feldspar went or even whether they're still alive. Also wonder if they've just found out that their solar system is dying and that it's about to be swallowed up by a black hole and the quantum moon's going to crush everyone to death anyway, so maybe they're just trying to enjoy their remaining time in Earth, playing the harmonica, just living their best life. Cool. It's been a long time since they left, but no one's telling me how long the program's been, and also no one's telling me actually how long they've been left. And then, lastly, no thanks, I'm good, take care. Cool, let's go check out the quantum rocks. Okay, so let's have a look. So there's a tree up there, there's a tree up there. You can see. I just wonder how long one of these days are. Can we actually interact with it? So read. And give me a second. It's okay. I've got like. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out dinner. So the strange rock moving around in this grotto appears to react to conscious observation. The level-headed among us realize there must be some sort of optical illusion at play, but Gabro claims the rock exists in all possible states until it is observed, wherever that means. Whatever is actually happening, both sides of this debate agree the effect is extremely creepy. Okay. Bam. Moved again. Bam. Moved again. Bam. Moved again. Bam. Okay, I don't think that actually makes a difference. Does it have a face on it? I keep walking into things. So far, oh, oh, it's moving while I'm inside. That is actually quite terrifying. Anyway, so effectively, I'm kind of just waiting for myself to be vaporized. So I've done a lot of reading. I am just exploring, and so far I seem to be safe, but who knows? Anyway. Let's deliberately launch ourselves into the sun and see what happens. Because what I found out right now is that there seems to be a record of something. It says 12 on the controllers. It's etched in there, 12. I wonder how many times I've died. So, to be a good scientist, I am going to launch myself off into space. And I am going to lock in the sun and fly towards it and see what happens. Where are we? Where is the sun? Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. Okay. Locking in. It's 9 kilometers away. It also doesn't feel right. How could a sun be only 9 kilometers away? Am I actually getting towards it? Oh, there we go. 8 kilometers. 7 kilometers. I want to fly towards it. It's like if I'm being drawn. Actually, why am I getting further and further away? Okay, I'm going to match the velocity. Hold X to match velocity. And I'm going to try and fly towards it. You know, the irony here is that this time I'm deliberately trying to fly towards the sun, and I'm getting further and further away. I'm 15 kilometers now. I just want to vaporize. Come on! Let me fly into the sun. Is it happening? Is it happening? Okay, there we go. Okay. Let's take this as a moment to reflect and enjoy and appreciate the time we've spent together for the last 40 minutes of me reading. Okay, I'm getting further and further away again. Maybe, okay, I'm going to engage autopilot. I think that's what I mean. Here we go. Autopilot. Aligned flight trajectory. Let's lock in. Engage autopilot. Let's do it. I'm actually flying further away. Oh, here we go. Accelerating towards destination. I want to, because there was a planetary body in the way, that's why I wasn't letting me fly towards it. 35, 34, 33, 32. Oh, there we go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. Autopilot complete. No, you're not done. Cool. 22, 20, 20, 19, 18, 17, 15, 14, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just let me land on you. Just huh? There's like a satellite around the sun that's there's going to be an easy way to do this. There we go. So I just flew out of the hatch without a spacesuit. Okay, this is the moment of truth, team. So we're just going to review the last couple of minutes of me failing to fly towards the sun. I went around, I explored the ship, I actually read everything properly, and let's see if I was right. This time did sound a lot more laboured in terms of breathing. Oh, you can see me running towards them, so excited. Okay, cool. Launch codes. That moment getting a timer countdown. This is my time loop because PS5s apparently can only record up to an hour, and I've actually spent a lot more time than I thought I would. And let's see. Let's see. Moment of truth. It meant nothing. It looks exactly the same. So, on that note, I'm just going to buckle up and I'm going to call it I'm going to call it for now.